Hi, friends. Today I have a special book for us called From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. Maybe you've read some books by her before. She writes lots of books all about different topics and things in our world. And today, for our science lesson, we're specifically going to look at seeds and plants, something we've been talking a lot about. So, you might recognize some information or some pictures that maybe we've already gone over and seen, and that you can learn more about, or you can just be happy to know that you already know it. So, if you do see anything you recognize, go ahead and put a thumbs up at your heart. If you recognize any vocabulary words or key words that we've been talking about, show a thumb at your heart. Show what you know. All right, let's get started. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Oh, and you can see lots of different plants here. I see mostly flowers, but I also see some peas that we can eat, some corn with an ear of corn growing that we can also eat. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. So, looking at this page makes me think back to our conversation we had just a little while ago about seeds and how there are different types. Do you remember the three different types of seeds that we talked about? Show me a thumbs up if you do. So, we talked about that there are flyers that fly through the air. I'm thinking maybe these ones are some flyers. There were hitchhikers. Remember those that get stuck in fur or on your socks and they have sharp bits. I'm also seeing some that maybe look like they could be floaters that float in the water. Perhaps this one or this one. I noticed an acorn here, and I think we looked at how acorns get dispersed with squirrels. Lots of different seeds here. And we know that the reason they have different shapes, sizes, and colors is because they need to get transported and dispersed or spread around to far places. All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So a sunflower seed will grow into a sunflower. An acorn will grow into an oak tree. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. You can see this is called an aster. This is a dandelion. This is an apple tree, a zinnia. Lots of different types of flowers. A flower is made up of many parts. We have the petal here. The sticky part of the top of the pistil is the stigma. There's the stigma. Stamens make yellow powder called pollen. See the yellow on there? The parts of the flower around the pistil are the stamens. There they are. These lines here are really helpful to know what part is being described and talked about. In the center of the flower is the pistil. There it is. At the bottom of the pistil are tiny eggs called ovules. There's little eggs. This is called the sepal, and this is the stem. Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. There's the stigma. This is called pollination. Show me a thumbs up if you've ever heard of pollination or if you think you know what it means. You can see the stigma is here. That yellow or white on there looks like it might be pollen. Here's the pistil, the stamen. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. You can see it's getting blown from this flower onto this flower here. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. We can see this bee is covered with pollen there. And when it goes to the next flower, it will bring that pollen and drop it onto the next flower. Same with this hummingbird. We can see its chest is touching pollen there, and it will go and it will spread it around, touch other flowers with that pollen, and help pollinate. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto its pistil. Here we see that bee again. We see the hummingbird again with the pollen on it. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. So here we see the pollen grain that maybe a hummingbird or bee dropped off onto this flower. It makes a tube that connects all the way down to the eggs here. Remember, those are eggs? That's how a seed starts. The seeds grow inside the flower even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seed. So look there, we can see that's a fruit growing. Here's a pod. This pod looks like something that maybe we eat. And inside of it are peas, and that's a food that we eat. But the pod, the shell on the outside, is actually protecting the peas because the peas are the seeds. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Here we can see those peas inside. Can you see the seeds in here? Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow, but we know sometimes there isn't enough space or enough water or sun for the plants if they drop right underneath their parent plant. So something else has to happen. Some pods or fruits open and the seeds pop out. Sometimes when birds eat berries, they drop the seeds. You can see here this bird is carrying a stick full of berries that are dropping. Sometimes also the birds will eat the berries and they'll drop the seeds by leaving their droppings, their poop with the seeds in them, and that's how they'll get planted. Other seeds fall into streams or ponds, rivers, or the ocean. There, they travel on the water until they stick to dirt along the shore. Remember we talked last time about a coconut? That's a floater seed because it's floating in the ocean until it hits land. And then look, this coconut here, put down some roots and will become a brand new coconut tree. The wind scatters seeds. Some seeds have fluff on them that lets them float to the ground like tiny parachutes. Others have wings that spin as they fall. You can see the dandelions here spinning through the air with their parachutes. Animals help scatter seeds too. They hide acorns and nuts in the ground. Remember that video we watched of squirrels hiding acorns in the ground? Some seeds have hooks that stick to the fur of animal or people's clothes. Later, they drop off onto the ground. Those are the hitchhiker seeds. A flower bed or vegetable garden is beautiful. Seeds are planted to grow in the gardens. Have you ever planted a garden in your neighborhood or near your house or at school? The seeds come in small envelopes or boxes. Directions explain how to plant the seeds and care for the plants. The beginning of a plant is curled up inside each seed. Food is stored inside the seed too. The seed has a seed coat on the outside to protect it. I love this zoomed in picture we have here. It really helps us understand what's happening inside of this bean. So we can see the beginning of a plant here, and it's curled up. And out here, we see the outer layer, which is the seed coat. It really helps me understand how this bean is starting to grow. A seed will not sprout until certain things happen. First, it must be on or in the soil, in the dirt. Then it needs rain to soak the seed and soften its seed coat. When the sun shines and warms the ground, the seed coat breaks open and the seed begins to grow. This is called germination. A root grows down into the soil. The root takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. So we can see the seed, this bean, we can see the seed coat has kind of gotten off the seed. We see the bottom part of it, the yellow part. It's starting to sprout, its stalk is growing, and its roots are growing. And this whole process is called germination. Up grows a shoot. Green leaves grow up from the shoot towards the sun. Remember, the sun helps give food to the seeds, to the plants. The plant grows bigger and bigger. The leaves make food for the plant from the water and minerals in the soil, the sunlight and the air all around the plant. Wow, look how fast that plant is growing. Finally, the plant is full grown. Buds on the plant open into flowers where new seeds will grow. See those buds there? Right here, and then here we see the flowers are full grown, all from this tiny little seed. Many of the foods people eat are seeds, fruits, and pods. They are full of nutrition, vitamins, and minerals. I recognize here the peas that we saw earlier. And look at this corn. That corn is full of seeds. All of those kernels are actually the seeds of the corn, and that's what we eat. We also eat strawberries, which are full of seeds. Tomatoes are full of seeds. Cucumbers, all of those are full of seeds that could grow into new plants, or it could be food for us. They're also tasty too. So look here, there's apples. Apples have seeds inside of them. I see sunflower seeds. We eat those. Rice is a seed, and we eat the seeds of it. Pumpkins, I eat pumpkin seeds. Do you? Lots of yummy food. I hope you enjoyed this book. I hope you saw some familiar things and maybe you learned some new things all about seeds and how they grow.